Should you put an expensive gas outboard, likely 2 to 3 times the cost of your cheap plastic Jon Boat, or should you simply stick with the tried and true, simple, easy trolling motor option? Today, we're gonna talk about speeds, we're gonna talk about performance, safety, and most importantly, in a lot of people's opinion, stability. Stay tuned because we ran into some issues. We found out some wonderful things about putting a gas outboard on these plastic Jon Boats. And of course, my final verdict, if I think you should stick to trolling motors, if you should go for an electric outboard, or if you should just splurge on the gas option. This is the first time this boat has ever seen a motor that goes over 4.5 miles an hour. I have no idea how this thing's gonna behave, so let's just get into it. First things first, this is idle speed. We're going about 3 miles an hour. We're going about 3 miles an hour right now, which is not too far off the top speed. The fastest we've ever gotten this boat, the fastest we have ever gotten this boat is 5 miles an hour. Oh my gosh. We are flying. Woo! Oh my gosh. It turns so fast. Woo! Look at that. Oh my gosh. You can rock this thing. Woo! Oh my gosh. Oh, okay. Not gonna lie, that felt way sketchier than I thought it was gonna feel. I think we're gonna need to make some adjustments here. Something's not right. I don't know how fast we were going. It felt decent, but I'm pretty sure that the trim angle is wrong because as you guys saw, this bow was diving. So this is the trim setting that it's been on my 16-foot inflatable Sea Eagle. But I think that we're going to have to go up 1 notch, but I think really we're gonna have to push this thing off deeper to see how it's sitting in the water. I think my trim angle was too low, which was pushing my bow down, and that's why when I would turn, it would just splash over the bow. It didn't feel right. Yeah. That's gonna be our issue. This is something that you're gonna wanna make sure that you get right when you put a gas outboard on a plastic boat, or any boat for that matter. Here's gonna be a quick lesson. So the transom angle is angled. It's not completely 90 degrees as most transoms are angled. Now this one I thought had the same angle as my 16-foot skiff, but it is not, and here's the issue. As you can see, it is not up and down like this, it is angled. So I need to move that pin up a slot, and that should totally change things. Hopefully we'll gain some speed and hopefully it'll rise that bow up a little bit. Okay, so as you can see here, I had to actually trim it up 2 whole levels. This is as high as I could possibly trim it, and now it looks much better. So we were way off. Always check that before you take off, and I'm really curious to see if this changes performance, and I think it really should. Then we can really test this bad boy, but lesson learned, naughty, naughty, check your trim. Much better, much better. Oh yeah, woo, there we go. Throwing off a better wake as well. Wow, this motor has really transformed this boat. Awesome. Another thing I was super worried about was how the flimsy transom would handle my bow mount underway. Now, we don't really have any waves today. Waves will pick up here in a little bit, but it seems to be holding this really, really solid, which I'm super happy to see. Before we get into the stability test, because I think that it actually has made a difference in how this boat just feels completely. Let's pull out the speedometer and get a top speed with a 5 horsepower on basically a full load. Only one person, but basically a full load. All right, so we are at idle speed, right around 3 miles an hour, which is how fast traditionally we have gone in this boat. When I move my hand, it adjusts the speeds a little bit, but we are going roughly a little over 3 miles an hour. Let's crank it up and see what we can top out at with this plastic Jon Boat. 30 30%. Half throttle. Wide open. Yeah, 14. Woo! No way! Woo! 14 mile an hour, guys. Truly, truly not bad. This has totally changed the game for this boat, for sure. It's about 60 pounds. I do have a 3-gallon external gas tank. That is because when I'm on my 16-foot skiff, we go really, really long distances. And, well, I mean, it's not necessary. It does have a half-gallon internal tank, a little less, and it'll run 40 minutes wide open. So it's not totally necessary, but man, this is sick. Here's another kind of cool thing. As I go from 0 to full throttle, you can see that boat start to move up, that bow go, and then it rises back down and settles. Check this out. Rising, rising, settles. Look at that. I'm having too much fun right now. I'm having too much fun. This boat has never been this far. All right, let's test out this transom. I mean, I have to move this motor quite a bit to get any sort of flex, and oh, it is definitely flexing, but really it's not that bad. I'm pretty impressed with how it feels on the water, and it certainly does wiggle a little bit when you actually get it going. Yeah, for sure wiggles. Now, here's the thing. In some countries, this boat has actually been rated for a 9.9. It's been kind of nerfed by the US Coast Guard, but people have been running up to a 12 on it. Now, here's my personal opinion on running a higher horsepower outboard. If my spot lock can freaking, you know what? You've lost spot lock privileges. Swing that motor over to me. You're in trouble. You're in freaking trouble, buddy. Give me that motor. I love this thing so much. That might not have been what I was looking for. There we go. That's looking better. Oh, 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 come on. Back her up. Back her up, baby, come on. Okay, all right, all right, all right, there we go, there we go, there we go. Good job. Now, shut up. Anyway, I would say a 9.9 would be a little bit more sketchy. I wouldn't really want to go much faster in this boat. 14 mile an hour is pretty dang good. Now, we are going to do a test where we have no weighted on it at all, but I don't know. Given the amount of flex that it has, I don't know if I'd put a 9.9 on it. Am I going to? Yes, I'm going to, of course, for science. But I did want to make that note. If you're going to get a 2.3 horsepower gas outboard, you might as well just go electric. You're not going to be going that fast. Once you get up into the 4 to 6 range, now we're talking. Now the boat's happy. Now the boat's comfortable. It's what it's engineered to do. Once you get into the 7 to 9.9 range, that's whenever you're at your own risk. If you get pulled over and they check your plate and it's only rated for a 6, that could be an issue. But like I said, in some countries, it is a thing. But man, she looks good on there too. Let's see how much we're sagging here. Can you really tell that the butt is sitting lower? Yeah, I mean, the butt is definitely sitting lower, but what do you expect? We've only got about 50 pounds on there. We've got probably 65 pounds back here, but I don't know, man. Sure looks good on this big gal, huh? Right tool for the right job, and the electric outboards just didn't do it for this type of fishing. All right, let's run back to the ramp. I'm going to take the trolling motor off, and we are going to test it bone dry. Okay, when it comes to having absolutely no load, all I have now is my essential safety gear, maintenance gear. I shifted the gas tank up, and we just didn't want all that weight on the stern. So now that we have more of an even weight distribution, nothing in this boat really weighs anything. It was the bow mount trolling motor, the battery, and some of the extras that really weighed it down. Now let's see what she does. Hit it. Okay, so I have noticed a couple key differences between this and running it on the Fish Gift 16, which is, you know, more expensive, more kind of outfitted, proper fishing boat. Wow! This is nuts! Oh my gosh! Woo! Oh, the motor's coming out! Oh, wow! Woo! Whoa! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! First of all, I think they run similar speeds, even though this is a 12, basically a 1236 Jon boat, and that other boat is like 5 foot wide, 16 foot long. So it's interesting that it still performs the same. With 2 people, I'm still running almost 13 miles an hour in the Fish Gift. The bow, honestly, pretty good in calm waters. Now, when we hit boat wake, it definitely gets a little shaky, and this does not handle boat wake. If you have not seen any of my Fish Gift content, you are missing out, because we have gone out in some of the roughest days we've had all year, and it handles the chop like a champ. This thing, I think, would sink if we did that, not even joking. You can also turn extremely fast with this plastic hull. I don't know if it's the size of it, I don't know what it is, but you can turn dangerously fast. You can throw yourself out of the boat, and it looks like with all this weight up on the bow, I tried to even it out. If you turn too sharp, that nose really wants to kind of dip in there, but it's not that big of a deal. I've made some sharp turns and hit some decent wake this morning, and it handles it. It just does. I guess I shouldn't be comparing a $600 hull to a $2,000 inflatable fishing hole, but those are just some of the things I've noticed. Let's talk about stability. Notoriously, 1236 Plastic Jon boat, not the most stable boat in the world. I have mentioned that many, many, many times. With all this extra weight back here, the gas tank really doesn't weigh that much, so that doesn't really matter a whole lot. But with all this extra weight with the motor, you know, 60 pounds, so we've got some good weight on the transom there. We've got probably another 50 pounds between the lithium battery and the trolling motor, and then miscellaneous, I weigh 150, and we've just got maybe, I don't know, another 30 pounds of random stuff. But walking around the boat, it does feel more steady. So that is another added benefit from walking around the boat that I've noticed, is that extra weight back there does actually make it more stable. I wasn't sure if it'd make it more tippy, but it makes it more stable. So it's fast, and it makes your boat less tippy. That's pretty awesome. Now, this boat and most Plastic Jon boats, in fact, all of them are rated for a 6 horsepower. This is a 5. Would I recommend a 6? Sure, why not? Get you going a little bit faster. Now, I don't exactly know what this motor runs for. I want to say about $2,000. This motor was actually a gift from Sea Eagle Boats. But I know for a fact we have made videos running the E-Lite E-Propulsion Electric Outboard, and now after tariffs, That is a basically $1,200–$1,300 electric outboard that's going to push you fully loaded about 4 miles an hour. Now, it is exponentially lighter, it is cleaner, it is quieter, and it is much better option for smaller bodies of water. But I said in that video that it's a terrible outboard if you want to go miles and miles in the bay. Now then, they do have the 3 horsepower electric option, which is hands down the best option. If you can afford it, just go straight to that. But it's still only going to push you about 6–7 miles an hour loaded down for about $2,500–$3,000. So do I recommend you put a gas outboard on your Plastic Jon boat? Abso-freaking-lutely. I was worried about the transom. It can handle it just fine. I was worried about performance and getting that bow from really stuffing in the water with all that weight because, you know, it doesn't have the highest weight capacity. It did it really, really well. As you can see, it rose up and then it kind of got on plane and was really happy. I was worried about this bow mount bracket being too flimsy, but it's actually pretty decent. Not bad. I would say it performed worse than I was expecting in terms of heading directly into chop and wake. Chop is fine. But if, like I said, if you've seen any of those fish skiff videos, this thing would have been full of water. And you don't want that because unlike the fish skiff, this is not self-bailing. Blown away by the outboard experience. Yes, sometimes you have to troubleshoot. Yes, you got to get gas. Yes, it's loud. Yes, it's smelly. But it makes your boat more stable. You can go wherever you want, extremely fuel efficient, and overall, at the end of the day, it's a boat, baby, and boats have gas outboards. Thank you guys for hanging out. As always, all the glory goes to our Father in heaven. Tight lines, and God bless.